All right. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. We are live here at Impact for round number 3 of our Pioneer 1K RCQ. Both players starting with Llanowar Elves. We have Paul R. playing Mono Green Devotion against Micah M. on Black Green Vampires. We got some Dino time coming on in here for Micah. Whenever the Hammer Skull attacks, while you don't control another dinosaur, put a stun counter on it. It is a 6/6. It's a big old boy. And here's a Kiora. In play for Paul. And a pass back. Alrighty. We're going to tap 3 mana and play a big old Hammer Skull again. And that's a one shot. Thanks for playing. It takes down the Kiora swiftly. And it'll get us... it will not get a stun counter because he's got another dino. Pretty disgusting. Great start here for Micah. A Seiju entering play here for Paul. Can't quite see what's in Micah's hand. Paul giving us a little bit better of a look. Old Growth Troll. The big 4/4 from Kaldheim. It's big, but it's not as big as Micah's Hammer Skull. Here's a Dusk Legion Zealot. Going to drain Micah 1 and draw him a card. He draws a Mutavault. Are we just going to smash city here with these Hammer Skulls? I imagine you don't play them unless you're turning them sideways. Like, why else play them? And Paul just gonna jump here and take 6. Alrighty. So no devotion for you, Paul. I mean, he's got 2 devotion. But, you know, Old Growth Troll definitely 3 pips is nice. So both these players are 2-0. Thank you again, everybody, for watching here today. We are live from Impact Gaming Center in the fabulous Fairview Heights, Illinois. Micah's turn. Gonna play Mutavault, and here is the big old Vein Ripper. And this time, the Dusk Legion Zealot's even getting into the red zone. So we are attacking for 13 damage. So not quite lethal. Paul doesn't necessarily have to block. I don't really know what's in Paul's hand either. It's a Cavalier of Thorns, I think I saw. He'll double block the big boys and take 1 down to 13. Or down to 2. Take 2 down to 12. Oh. And that's going to do it. I was adjusting life totals. It just didn't matter. Hammer Skulls doing the hammer thing. Micah hammers Paul game 1. And we will head on over to the booth. And I will take a look here at these here deck lists as we try to decipher and see what these players are going to bring in. We're taking a look here at Mono Green Devotion by Paul. He's got Stessian Petitioner, 3 Obstinate Balos. I don't know. Let's see. Does Micah play any? No. Oh, Oh, he does play Thoughtseize. I don't know if that comes in this matchup, though. So, Obstinate Bailout, probably not great. Pick Your Poison, certainly not the best. The Stone Brain, eh. Unlicensed Hearst, Cityscape Leveler. I mean, I can see Cityscape Leveler. Looks like Paul's bringing in 3 cards currently. So, Stessian Petitioner, I'm not aware of what that card does, though. But let's take a look at Micah's cards. 4 Thoughtseize, 2 Path of Perils, 2 The Ends, 3 Pick Your Poisons, 2 Damping Spheres, and 2 Ashioks. Damping Sphere, I believe, shuts off, if I'm not mistaken. It shuts down the Nykthos, so that's probably a decent get. So definitely, I would imagine those. Maybe some amount of Path of Peril, just because getting rid of Dorks is always good, and if you can 2-for-1 your opponent on turn 3, that's decent. So that's my assessment of this sideboarding plans from both players. Not really familiar with either of these decks. Mono Green Tron, but Mono Green Devotion is a deck that I would never play. But this Vampires deck, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Old Growth Troll. Alrighty. Round 3 here at Impact. Round 3 of 6, and then we have 3 elimination rounds. So we've got at least 6 more rounds. Well, at least 5 more rounds, because I guess the top 2 could, somebody could concede to someone else. They are playing for $1,000 total in prizes. This is cash money. And of course, the RCQ invite. There's some really cool Goblin Guide promos. So a lot at stake here in these games. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Follow if you're watching on Twitch. And yeah. But yeah, if there's any decks or players that you know are here today and you're watching live, let me know in the comments who you want to see. I will try to accommodate and put them on screen and get them on camera. And if you're watching after the fact on YouTube and want to see more Pioneer content, let us know. We have kicked around the idea of streaming our Monday night tournaments. One major issue with that is on Mondays, I'm typically playing in the tournament, so I can't commentate. Micah, shuffling for days. Paul just sitting there chilling, already shuffled, ready to roll. So Micah calls this deck Black-Green Smashosaurus. I kind of like that for the meme value. So I'm going to change it. Calls it Scamosaurus. I like that less. But I like that. It's a spicy meme. I think I'll go with it. Paul gonna mulligan. I'm assuming Paul is on the play. It is vampires and it is dinos, so hard to tell. I think if you're watching this on YouTube, it will likely say black-green vampires. Because that is probably better for the algorithm. Micah's still trying to decide here, I believe, which is why he's not cutting or shuffling Paul's deck. All right. Hopefully Paul has a sensational sit. Never mind. Unfortunate. Paul going to 5 on the play. Not where you want to be here in round 3 of a 1K RCQ. $38 in attendance today. Thank you all so much for hanging out, and thank you everybody who came up and played in today's RCQ. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, we appreciate you here at Impact. Paul trying to decide what else he wants to get rid of. He does have a ley line, the guild pack, so that'll not worth it though, he says. Creature land go. Overgrown tomb tapped go. Another one. Pass back. Gloomy Marsh. Pass back. Forest. What card could this be? It is... Invasion of Ixalan. No, it wasn't Invasion of Ixalan. I don't know. I don't know what that... Oh, it's a creature that he plotted. All right, well, now that it's on the battlefield and in the center of the battlefield, I can zoom in. We have the technology. Outcaster Trailblazer. So let's look this up on Scryfall. Here it is. I will get that on screen for all you fine folks. We will read it. Add one mana of any color. The end, gonna exile that. So, whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield, draw a card, and then has plot. Okay, so that's what he did. At the end, gonna take down all of these Cavalier of Thorns. Very good piece of removal here for Micah. All right. And there's the Hammer Skull. So this is the big 6/6 for 3 whenever it attacks. If Micah doesn't control another dinosaur, it gets a stun counter on it. So that means it cannot untap. Let's see what Paul's got cooking in his hand. We're going to play Llanowar Elves. And Leyline of the Guild Pack. That's going to give him Rainbow Lands and basically infinite green pips. Not quite infinite. He's got 7 currently. Not quite infinite. Rotting Regisaur. Is that what he just drew? That's a pretty good draw. Rotting Regisaur. A 7/4. Beginning of Micah's upkeep, he has to discard a card. A big, beefy boy. And which means, though, this Hammer Skull doesn't have to put a stun counter on it. Llanowar is going to chump back to Paul. However, this game, Paul does have Devotion on the battlefield, but at this time around, he does not have Nykthos. Plays a land and passes right on back. So before we draw, we do have to discard. Thankfully, Micah remembered. Discards Thoughtseize. Draws Llanowar Elves. Micah's got some big old beefy dinosaurs. Play a swamp. Oh, he's got a Turn Timber Symbiosis in his hand. Here's Llanowar Elves that he just drew. Is it time to smash? Just attacking with the 1. Another chump from Paul. Mana Elf goes down. And there is Nykthos. Not sure what's in Paul's hand, though, so. At this point, he has 5 Devotion to green. So we can net 3 mana potentially. +3. Discard Sorin. Draws for turn. Turn Timber Symbiosis. And it's been a long time since I've seen this card. Look, Paul's got to read it. Here it is. Turn Timber Symbiosis. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield. If that card's converted mana cost was 3 or less, it enters the battlefield with 3 additional +1/+1 counters. Put the rest on the bottom in a random order. Well, he didn't do that. He just got a Vein Ripper and is going to continue to savagely beat down Paul. So Paul activates his creature land and blocks, which takes down the Hammer Skull. Rotting Regisaur. Doing things. Paul now. Activating Nykthos. Storm the Festivals. What did we find? I see a Kiora. You're an Ovenwold oddity. And we will get that up on screen for us. Trample Haste and tap 7 to transform him. And what does he transform into? Well, Ovenwald Behemoth, of course. An 8/8. Other creatures you control have +1/+1. Trample and Haste. And guess what? Paul's going to go ahead and transform him. Pick your poison. Sacrifice a flying creature. Pretty good how the turntables here. And is Paul going to get into this red zone? He will, but he's going to keep the Behemoth back on defense. As a judge call bellows throughout the gaming space from Micah here. Not quite what we're asking, maybe a card in hand. Well, he grabbed the Behemoth, so I assume it has something to do with that. I'm not sure in regards to what. Paul was on a mulligan to 5, and is now in the driver's seat of this game, I think. All right. Our esteemed judge, Stephen Hagan, here, fielding this judge call. He is the head judge, the only judge here today, I guess. Well, he said Jeff will field some calls as well, which Jeff Blyden, one of the proprietors of this fine business, is an L1. But yeah, while we take this kind of abbreviated break here, I would like to remind everybody to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Follow. And if you would be so inclined, we just became affiliates. You can unlock some really sweet emotes here on Twitch if you become a subscriber on Twitch. That'd be really cool if you did. It'd be really cool if you did. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out with us. If you're watching live, we do appreciate it. We have pre-release starting in about 20 minutes. Looking like there's more people. I haven't been out there obviously since the beginning of this match has started, but I assume people are filing in for that. We additionally have another pre-release at 5 p.m. tonight and 2 tomorrow, both being at 1 p.m. One's going to be a two-headed giant. The other is just a traditional. And yeah, make sure to follow us on all of our other socials as we kind of figure out what's going on here. I have honestly no idea what we're trying to figure out here. Because here's the card in question. Trample Haste, 8/8. Other creatures you control have +1/+1 Trample Haste. Seems pretty straightforward. Are we talking about its converted mana cost potentially? In that regard, I do believe it is based off of the other side of this behemoth. Or maybe we're talking about timing with Rotting Regisaur? Not sure. I'm not sure. Like when he needs to discard? Like it's upkeep. You don't get to draw the card first. But at this point, I'm just speculating. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. At this point, I'm kind of like at a loss for words because judge calls, you know? Does anybody in chat that is watching have any suggestions or want to see any specific decks today? Getting kind of later into this tournament, so picking decks might be a little bit more difficult. But I will still do my best. All right, the end. That was the card in question, maybe. Ah, that's what it was. If he the ends it, will he be able to get Uvenwald Oddity? I guarantee that's what this question was about. And apparently the answer was yes. So now Micah in a good spot. All right, Paul gonna take a draw step. So now Micah's back in the driver's seat after that, the end. We'll see what Paul has in store. He's got some great draws, although with all of these the ends, his deck is getting a little bit sparse with good draws. Old Growth Troll triggers the other card. Sacrifice to the legendary Boseiju. Make 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. Going to cast the good old fashioned I'm blanking on the name of the card. Storm the Festivals. We've got some triggers happening. It's Pelucanos. But of course. Playing more elves, still using the mana that was in his mana pool. And an attack. Down to 15 goes Micah. That was a really good turn for Paul. That was a really good turn for Paul. Rebuilt his board out of nowhere thanks to Storm the Festivals. Vein Ripper, though, a great draw. Does Micah want to attack with the big dino? It would appear so. Double block time. Yep. Taking down the big boy. And we'll go through control, going to return to the battlefield attached to that there forest. I don't think he had any cards in hand. Doctor. Like he was hell-bent the turn before. Make it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Green mana. Flipping Pelucranos. But yeah, I think I believe Micah was hellbent. Yep, and he'll draw. Off of the... Oh man, he's firing up. I don't even know how much mana this is, or how big this big boy is. It's a lot though. Down to 9 goes Micah. I'm not sure what Micah can do to get out of this situation here. He's got basically every turn a massive creature land bashing him in the face, along with Pelucranos. I guess we can deal with both of those. Not sure what Micah drew for turn. Paul gonna draw his card and make a ton of mana here. Gonna fire up creature land and get in there again. Same play. Let's run it back. What is in Micah's hand that could help him here? Obviously, a removal spell would be great. Looks like we're just getting a chump and activating something. Oh, Bitter Triumph. That will do. Yeah, so Pelucranos gonna make a 3/3 Phyrexian with Reach and a 3/3 Phyrexian with Lifelink. And here comes Kiora. Yeah, and we are headed to game number 3, our first game 3 on camera here today. That was back and forth. What an absolute slobber knocker of a game there. Heading on over to game 3. This should be good. Micah gonna be on the play. Can he get a quick start? That is the question. That is the question. Because if he doesn't, Paul can, as you just saw, kind of just stampede over Micah's. Even though Micah's got some big old boys, Paul can kind of just run him over with his even bigger boys. Micah casted 3 pieces of removal that were really good that game, and it just didn't matter. Just did not matter. Paul and the power of Nykthos just taking over the game. Yeah, Nykthos got to go. Like, what are we doing here? Like, we can fancy dance around the problem, or we can just ban the actual card that is actually an issue here with this mono green deck. And I don't know the win percentage of mono green, but I know when you're playing against that deck and it's doing its thing, it feels terrible. But that's just one salty control player's ramblings. Game 3, the best 2 words in competitive Magic, at least from a coverage standpoint. Love game 3s. All right, Paul, ready to roll? Micah gonna shuffle for 15 minutes? I kid. I do not know how much time we have left. Let me check that real quick as Micah consults his sideboard. So there are 11 minutes left. Obviously, both of these decks can win in fast fashion. But, yeah, 11 minutes left in the round. These players do not have a time extension. They got started at the exact same time as everyone else. So that is important here. Folks are filing in, as I said, for our 1 o'clock pre-release, which is awesome to see. Thanks everybody for showing up and showing out, not only to the RCQ, but the pre-release. We had 48 players for our Modern Horizons 3 pre-release last night. It was absolutely awesome. It was electric in here. Ton of fun. And we have 2 more pre-releases. One that starts in 5 minutes. So if you're watching, probably not going to make it here. And one that starts at 5 later today, if you're watching live here on Saturday. And then 2 tomorrow. Both starts at 1. Both of them start at 1. And Micah drawing extra cards, so I assume he's mulliganing. Paul still considering here. So he's got an old growth troll. Oh, that didn't matter. Whoa! Somebody just ran into the... I just ran into the rig. That was crazy. And they're looking at it. I don't know if that just picked up, but I just had some crazy noises in my ear. Chat, let me know if that came through on your end, because it was horrendous sounding. Micah going to 5. Zoink, Scoob. All looking like he's going to keep 6. All right. Micah selecting his 5. I will say, obviously, Micah's deck is pretty unique, but I gotta imagine he doesn't need a lot. Like, he just have some of the cards. He does have a Hammer Skull in hand, so that's pretty good. Elvish Mystic, Llanowar Elves. There's a Hammer Skull. Pass turn. And he will have a Dino if he needs it because of Mutavault. Oh, he's plotting the... Okay. Plotting the card that plots. Alright, gonna fire up Mutavault and get in there. 6, 7, 8, 9. Down to 11 goes Paul. He needs an explosive turn here. This is what I was talking about. If Micah can get off to a rip-roaring start, it could be bad news bears. And at upkeep, we're going to fatal push your elf. Oh no. Forest inbound. And we're going to cast this for free. Add a green to the mana pool. And cast Uvenwald Oddity. Trigger. Draw a card. And a pass back. So Uvenwald Oddity. Pretty decent blocker. Not big enough, though, obviously, to get around this Hammer Skull and live to tell the tale. But Micah just going to fire up Mutavault and attack. That way he doesn't have to put a stun counter on the big boy. Just a double block for Paul. Okay, both of your creatures are gone. Overgrown Tomb, Damping Sphere, right on time. That's going to put a thorn in Paul's side to generate a bunch of mana with Nykthos. And Micah does still have 2 Mutavaults in play. It can get aggressive. I don't know what's in Paul's hand, but we shall see here. Tapping 1 mana, is this an elf? Oh no. Oh no, another Uvenwald Oddity. That's a big 4/4. It's hard to attack around. Here's another elf. Pass back. All starting to stabilize. We'll see, though. Micah's got pretty hot draws. I see Paul has an elf. Does he have 2 Nykthoses in his hand? Oh my gosh, I think he does. That's brutal. And a Leyline that he be able to cast next turn. Another elf go. So Micah has a lot of mana, not much to do with it. Paul kind of has the opposite problem. Alright, so that's the plotted creature. Pass back. Draws for turn. Didn't get a look at it. Just a pass back from Micah. It's interesting because both players have such good draws at this point in the game. And again, there is no time extension here. Hostile is the land that Paul just played, and now he plays the Cavalier of Thorns, and this is what I was talking about. This is the haymaker that Paul needed. Micah, based on his body language, not a fan. Not a fan. Oh, the end. All right. So hostile. I have it here on. Well, I'm getting it for you. Sacrifice a creature, put a soul counter on it. Then, if there are 3 or more soul counters on it, you get to transform it. Activate only as a sorcery. And then it flips into Creeping In. Whenever Creeping In attacks, you may exile a creature from your graveyard. If you do, and each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of creature cards exiled with Creeping In. Now we are resolving the Cavalier. Old Oddity gonna get in. Down to 16 goes Micah. Yeah, this one's starting to slip away from Micah. Again, he was on a mulligan to 5. Had a really, really good start. But the mulligans are starting to catch up with Micah, I think. Thumbs up from Micah. And here's Kiora. This might be the last match because head judge Stephen Hagen watching over it. Gonna get a double block. Take care of this Ubenwald Oddity. Yep. Down only 2 lands, but obviously Micah's got several mana dorks. Vein Ripper the draw. Can't cast that. Oh, he's got double Vein Ripper in here. I didn't see that. That's brutal. Needs a 3rd black source. Could turn the tide currently. I'm not sure what Paul's about to do here. That is time in the round. I'm hearing Jeff's voice over the intercom. So this will be turn number 0. Down to 6 goes Micah. Turn 1. And here's a Sorin. He's going to cheat this big boy into play. Thumbs up. There's Sorin. Alrighty. Well, we got something going. I believe this is turn 2. We're going to Boseiju the Damping Sphere. Couldn't come at a better time for Paul. Micah gonna take a gander at the graveyard of Paul and grab his land. So now he is able to cast the other Vein Ripper. Both players need this win, though. It's going to make their breakers really sticky. If they're not able to get an actual victory here, a draw, not quite as good as not quite as bad as a loss, rather, but not what you want, certainly. Storm the Festival. We're making Nykthos mana again. We're looking at the top. Kind of a not great Think those. Or I'm sorry, not a great Storm the Festival. We do get Leyline, but what does that do at this point in the game? I guess it, of course, always makes mana, but gotta try and kill your opponent here. So, Forest and Invasion of Ixalan. I'm not sure what the heck that was. Another Cavalier. Oh, well, that's pretty good. Snagging that land. Attack Sorin. Can't. Oh, I guess he can block because he'll. All right, Micah gonna take a draw step. I believe this is turn 3. Micah will get the last turn, I do believe. Put a +1 counter on the big Vein Ripper that can attack this turn. Gotta try to push. Yeah, he's gonna block. Cavalier does have reach. Gonna put Uvenwald Oddity back on top of his library. And Paul's gonna have a pretty disgusting turn this turn. However, unfortunately, it is Paul's last turn. I do believe. Uvenwald Oddity, the draw, I guess. Haste, yeah. He's gonna make a ton of mana here. There's Uvenwald Oddity. Gonna draw a card off Kiora. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana? 8 mana? Untap. So much. I mean, it's infinite at this point, right? Like, Storm the Festival. Pick your poison. Pelucranos, pick your poison. Iora, oh, that's so good. Because he can untap the creature land. Yeah. This is looking like... Oh my, and he's stacking the triggers, he gets both, and now he's sacrificing. Oh my gosh, he's got another Nykthos. He's going infinite. Sheesh. He's gonna untap the Nykthos? Make Bazillion? This Uvenwald Oddities, spoiler alert, gonna flip. Micah's got a Fatal Push and a Vein Ripper in hand. Another Kiora. He just keeps it going. He just keeps it going forever. This is a never-ending game. Yep, that Nykthos will go to the bin. We will untap. Yep. Our creature land. Add a bazillion more mana to the mana pool. I mean, it does matter. We're going to transform this. No, it doesn't, because this creature land is going to have haste and trample and +1/+1. All his creatures will. So the Fatal Push is going to take down the best 1-drop, essentially. Which is obviously the creature land. But can Micah survive this? He is at 15, which is important here. Doing math, because that's what blockers do. Eight, 6. Yeah. Pushing that. And Paul gonna take this one down. Ooh, that was intense. What gameplay from both of these players. Shout out to both of them. Paul gonna take it with mono green over Micah on black green Scamasaurus. Black green vampires known to the rest of the world. But yeah, Paul gonna improve to 3-0. Micah drops to 2-1. Still live for top 8, but it's gonna be a slog for him to get into top 8. If he wins out, he's a lock, but got to do that now. So we will be back very soon, as I'm sure round 4 will be starting very soon. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We'll be back, as I said, right across from these messages.